Terror from the Grave is the Series 2 vignette for Final Girl where you'll be fighting against the zombies in a location of your choice. In this scenario, the zombies are minions who shamble around hunting victims and turning them into more zombies. Groups of 3 or more zombies on the same space at the end of the killer phase will turn into a horde which acts as a killer and has health equal to the number of zombies in the horde. You lose the game either when you die or when the 4th horde is formed. You win the game by killing every single zombie and horde. In this video, I'll go over the special rules for the zombies and point out some commonly misplayed rules and cards. If you want a general overview of how to play Final Girl, then check out my rules video before you watch this one. Terror from the Grave is a vignette which is different from a feature film. It comes with a killer but no location or killer board. It's packaged in a small deck box which includes all the rules, cards, and tokens you need to play the game. There are also zombie miniatures available which you can purchase separately. You'll need the core box and at least one location from a feature film to play. The zombies do not come with a killer board, so create your own by laying out a Dark Power and Finale card next to the location board and placing one of the Horde tokens on the Dark Power. Build the Bloodlust track with the 2 included cards and place the tracker at the bottom. Note that the zombies start at horror level 4 as shown here. Next, choose a location and set up everything as normal. I'll be using Camp Happy Trails for simplicity. Place 1 zombie on each exit space and 1 zombie on the killer starting space as shown on the setup card here. If there is only 1 exit like at Station 2891, then place 1 zombie on the exit, 2 zombies on the killer's starting space, and 1 zombie on a search space of your choice. Next, take the 4 vehicle tokens, shuffle them face down, and evenly distribute them among the exits. Place the extra token on the farthest exit from the Final Girl's starting space. If there's only 1 exit, then place the other 3 tokens on spaces a vehicle might thematically occupy. Find the vehicle action cards corresponding to your chosen location, in this case the Motorboat, and place it off to the side for later. The enemies in Terror from the Grave are zombies. Zombies are minions represented by tokens, and there's no limit to the number of zombies that can be on the board or in each space. When 3 or more zombies are in a space at the end of the killer phase, they will form a horde, which acts differently than singular zombies. Notice this only happens at the end of the killer phase. During the action phase, it's perfectly fine to have 3 or more zombies in a space, and if you manage to kill some, then a horde won't form later. Put simply, hordes are killers and zombies are minions. I'll talk more about hordes later. Let's look at zombies first. Each zombie has a health of 1, an attack value of 1, and a movement of 1. Zombies perform the minion action shown on the back of the finale card at the start of the killer phase. The minion action says that each zombie will target the closest victim or final girl and move towards them, and finally, once all the zombies have moved, you'll spawn new zombies as shown by this symbol here. First, let's talk about zombie movement. Zombies always have a movement value of 1 and follow a special rule that says if a zombie can't reach its target, then it will panic instead. So during the killer phase, you'll go through each zombie on the board and move them 1 space. If their target is 1 space away, then they will move into the space as normal. But if their target is more than 1 space away, then they will panic. Roll a die and move them in the direction rolled according to the panic numbers around the space. This is how the zombies shamble around the board. There's one other extra rule for zombie movement, and that is they are slow and will only move once during the killer phase during the minion action. That means all boot icons shown on tarot cards are ignored for zombies. Note that even if a zombie didn't move due to their panic roll, or if a new zombie spawned after the minion action but before the tarot card, then they still don't move. No matter what, zombies ignore all boot icons on tarot cards. Whenever you see this symbol on tarot cards, you'll spawn new zombies. It's also the last step of their default minion action. So after all zombies have moved during the killer phase, you'll spawn new zombies. To spawn zombies, look at the current bloodlust level and check this column. This is the number of new zombies that will spawn. So at the start of the game, you'll be spawning 1 new zombie every time you see the spawning symbol. Place the new zombies 1 at a time in the exit space with the least number of zombies. If multiple exit spaces are tied, then place the zombie in the exit furthest from the final girl. For example, let's say we are spawning 2 zombies and 2 exits contain 1 zombie and 1 exit is empty. The first zombie will spawn in the empty exit space, and for the second there's a 3-way tie since all the exits contain 1 zombie. We would place the second zombie here since it's the furthest exit from the final girl. Since zombies are minions, they will do any killer actions shown on tarot cards, and they will do the killer actions before the hordes who are considered killers. If you see the attack icon, then all zombies will attack their space. Zombies attack as a group and deal damage to 1 target in the space. They ignore targeting requirements for attacks and instead always prioritize victims over the final girl. They deal damage to the target equal to the number of zombies in the space. Last but certainly not least, anytime a victim is killed by zombies, you replace the victim with a zombie token and increase the bloodlust as usual. Let's do a couple examples. In this space with 2 zombies, 2 victims, and the final girl, the zombies will attack one victim doing 2 damage. The victim dies, turns into a zombie, and bloodlust will increase. And in this space with 2 zombies and the final girl, the zombies will attack for 2 damage, and you can play a reaction card if you have one to try and prevent it. Zombies are a special type of enemy called a minion, and there are general rules for minions in the core rulebook, so let's go over them now. First, any reference to an enemy on a tarot card, item, event, or anything else refers to both minions and killers. Any references to the killer, however, do not apply to minions, and any references to minions do not apply to the killer. Victims will follow you into spaces with minions, and if a victim died this turn, then victims in spaces with 1 or more minions will panic. Attacking minions is slightly different, and you can kill more than one with a single attack. So if you're on a space with 2 zombies and roll a successful Furious Strike doing 2 damage, you can kill both zombies since they each have 1 health. Also, zombies are special because they attack as a group, so you can damage multiple zombies with Retaliate. Normally for other minions, this only works with attack cards and not reaction cards like Retaliate. So if 3 zombies attack your space and you get a double success with Retaliate, you can kill 2 zombies. So that's it for zombies. Let's look at hordes next. At the end of the killer phase, if there are 3 or more zombies in a space, then they become a horde. Replace all the zombies in the space with a horde token with health equal to the number of zombies it replaced. Each horde token has a symbol corresponding to one of the victim overflow boards, and you can use these boards to hold the health tokens. If this is the first horde to be created, then use the horde token on the dark power card and immediately flip the dark power. There are 3 horde tokens in the game, and if a 4th horde is ever formed, you immediately lose. Hordes are considered killers, and the zombie rules do not apply to hordes. The term killer refers to all hordes except when an effect places or moves the killer somewhere. In that case, choose only the horde closest to the destination space. During the killer phase, all zombies will perform the minion action, and then all hordes will perform the killer action, which is to target the closest victim or final girl, move toward them, and attack. The bloodlust track shows the attack value and movement value for all hordes, just like a normal killer. Once a horde is formed, it always remains a horde, even if its health drops below 3. If a zombie is ever in the same space as a horde, then remove the zombie from the board and increase the horde's health by 1. When a horde kills a victim, then they become part of the horde, so increase their health by 1 and increase bloodlust as normal for the victim dying. Hordes have no upper health limit and will always gain health when you see this symbol. They also don't have a final health token, so once they lose all their health, you remove the horde from the board. Multiple hordes may share the same space, but they do not combine. Any game effect that lets you kill X zombies can be treated as deal X damage to a horde. Note that all hordes are considered the killers, so there's some odd interactions with items such as pepper spray. By using the pepper spray on a horde, you actually stop the movement of all hordes on the map. That's it for hordes, so let's recap the killer phase. First, all zombies will do the minion action and move towards the closest target. If their closest target is more than 1 space away, then they will panic instead. After all the zombies have moved, then you spawn new zombies on the exits based on the current bloodlust level. Then all hordes will perform the killer action and move towards the closest target and attack. Their movement and attack values are also based on the current bloodlust level. Finally, you'll flip a tarot card and do everything it says. If there is a killer action on the tarot card, then all the zombies will do it first, followed by all the hordes. Remember that zombies will ignore boot icons on tarot cards, but hordes will still move. After the tarot card, check the board for any spaces with 3 or more zombies and replace them with hordes. You can lose the game in one of 2 ways. Either you lose all your health and die, or a 4th horde is formed when 3 hordes are already on the board. You win the game by killing all the zombies and hordes, every single one. That's it for zombies and hordes, but there's one last thing to go over, and that's vehicles. Each location has a special action card that comes with Terror from the Grave. Ignore the normal rules and cards for vehicles, and if you draw an item card with a vehicle on it, then replace it with a random item card from out of play. Instead, the vehicle may be found in one of the exit spaces on the map. Whenever you enter an exit space, immediately flip all vehicle tokens there and see if you found it. One of the tokens has this symbol, and if you get it, then you found the vehicle. The other 3 tokens have an X on them and have no effect. Once you find the vehicle, remove all the other vehicle tokens from the board, place the vehicle's normal token in your space, and immediately take all the special action cards for that vehicle into your hand. However, if it's a water vehicle, then instead of placing it in your exit space, you place it in the closest eligible space instead. So at Camp Happy Trails, we'd place the motorboat in the closest space to us that's bordering the water. Each vehicle is unique, and the special action card will describe how it's to be used. Once the vehicle is found, the vehicle action cards function just like any other action card, and they will go back to the action tableau after being used and can be purchased again later for the cost shown in the bottom right hand corner. If the card has this icon in the title, then it means you do not need to be in the same space as the vehicle to use it because it has its own pilot or driver. If the card doesn't have that icon, then you can only use the action card when you are in the same space as the vehicle. When you are moving with a normal action like walk or sprint and you are with the vehicle, then you may move the vehicle with you unless stated otherwise. The rules sheet includes a more detailed explanation of all the vehicles, so be sure to read it when you find the vehicle. Van Ryder Games has also released a print and play vehicle card for the reindeer in North Pole Nightmare. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to print it out. And remember that you get to take all the vehicle action cards into your hand for free when you first find the vehicle at the exit. So that's all the special rules for the zombies. I'm thinking of doing a separate video on all the vehicle action cards, but I think it's worth going over the motorboat specifically here. When you are in the same space as the motorboat and move one space, you can either travel to any other space on the map bordering the water, or you can move to the center of the lake. This is different than how the motorboat normally functions, and the center of the lake is the literal center of the lake and not the lake space on the board. Victims may follow you as normal, and when you are traveling around the lake, you are considered to be in the space the motorboat is touching, even if you are on the boat. When you are at the center of the lake, however, you are unreachable by the zombies and hordes. The motorboat's action card says it may only be used from the center of the lake, and you may target any space bordering the water with it. On one success, you kill all victims and up to 2 zombies in the target space. If a horde is there, you may do 2 damage to them instead. On 2 successes, you kill all victims and all zombies in the target space. If a horde is there, it is immediately killed no matter how much health it had. I like to picture the final girl chucking dynamite while chilling on the motorboat. You might think this sounds pretty overpowered, and it is, but you'll most likely have to leave the boat and hunt down the remaining zombies who refuse to get near the water. Alright, and that's how you play Terror from the Grave. Let me know in the comments what you think of this vignette and how you'd rate it compared to the regular feature films. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to me on YouTube. If you want to check out more of my videos, then click the links on the screen, and maybe you'll find a new game to play. And with that, Michael Skeleton is out.